So Uncle Bob again, Fly Fishing Mythbusters, and I guess this is part 2 because my video cut out on me. Okay, I got my line out. I just cast, right? The first thing I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to sit down. If I got a lot of slack on the water, right, I'm going to put that butt up against there. If I got a lot of slack, I'll pull it in here. You can also reel like this. But the goal, your goal, right, after you've cast, right, is to get to this position right there, okay? Now you can put stuff away. You can think about what you're doing. Callie's coming out to see me. Hi, baby. Hi, Callie. That's Chisholm. Hi, Callie. Stay away from my rod. Anyway, so you cast out. You got comfortable, right? You put this in your hand. I usually let it sit until I see something disturb it, and you will see swirls around it if you chummed in the right place. You could see bumps, right? You could see slack in this. You can see this go slack, and you can watch it at your rod tip. That's usually where I watch it. But if it's dark, and I fish in the dark. See that loop of fly line right there? I can watch it bump and make a decision about I want this in hand or not. I'm not a person that likes to hold the rod. I made a video a while back about how I could, but after I found out putting the golf club stake in the ground, right, and taking it with the net, after I figured out this is the way I like to flarp. And if you want to give them a little bump back after they give you a bump, or if you want to give them the old kitty twitch, I can't be overly prescriptive about that because everybody's situation is going to be different. Everybody's going to have a different way of approaching it, whether they think they can induce a strike from the fish or whether it's, oh no, you don't want to move anything. Carp are really smart. They're really adaptive, but you know, how deep is the water? Can you see the fish, right? All that stuff is specific to you. I can't be overly prescriptive about it, but and if you leave the rod like this, just like this, you're going to catch 80% of your fish because you got a hair rig on the end. I'm just telling you. It's that extra 20% that you get from twitching the glow bug and all that. That's what I'm after, right? That's why I made the Flarp juice. Do I want to add 2 rods? No. If you tried to fish 2 rods, you'd never be able to focus on the one. It's like a baby. You got to hold it or pay attention to it, right? You can't neglect it. Sure, fish are going to take and run, but you know, your hookup rate's going to suck. If you just let them run, you're not taking advantage of this sensitivity. So, last part, okay. So you draw it in. It might not come through the grass very well. I usually just drop it here. I don't want to stand up. Okay, that got hung up. I got it undone. I'm going to just put the line down in here because this is what I want to show you. All right. So, I'm like this. I just reeled in, essentially, right? I didn't stand up. You don't want to stand up and spook the fish. You'd be surprised how many times you stand up and there's 3 or 4 fish a foot off the bank, right? And they go shooting out into your swim. This is a sedentary thing. That's okay. I got a lot of shit to carry when I go out. That's enough exercise right there for me. But you don't want to stand up until you do one thing and cast, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay. So I baited these, right? And I'm keeping them out of the way. And while I'm still sitting down, and by the way, when you strip in, you can drop it here off the chair. That's fine. Just don't let it get onto the crank on the reel. Be careful. Or you drag it over your knee. I like to do that and just drop the line straight down like I've done here. Okay. So while you're still sitting down, right, you gather all this stuff up. You make sure your loops are good. You come down and you drop it into here, right? And then you just flick it away. That's it. Sit your ass back down and don't jump up and down, right? Again, okay, it's been out there. I want to rebait it. I got a fish, whatever. just draw it in and dump it right here. There might be stuff on the ground, right? But you're not going to cast with that sitting on the ground, right? Here it comes. Oh, I still got my bait. Now, don't take too much line. If you take too much line and you still got line sitting in the chair when you've already gone through your whole arc, it's just going to dump, right? So you really want to know, okay, I threw my chum over there, right? So many pulls of the reel. If I take two in doing something, or if I fight a fish and, I got to start over, kind of know, right, how many pulls get you where you want to go. And just, I'm not saying you got to write it down or memorize it, but just that morning, if you pull 8 times, right, and you chuck it up, but you got a nice cast, and all the line goes out, but you're a little short, strip 2 more times the next time you cast. That's it. There's a lot of line management here, folks. But anybody who's dealt with bait casters or monofilament in general, right, or braid, it's easy to get knots out. Believe me, it really is. You can't it's impossible to permanently knot a fly line, right, doing this. If there was a knot in it and you cranked on it, that's a bad idea. But generally, it's easy to manage this line. Sure, sometimes there's leaves in it and whatever, but that's all the reason why, right? You manage your space. You know that this is the rod side, right? Even though I threw the net over there because that's where I'm going to take out the fish, I go around this way. I don't want to go through this area, because if I get in the habit of doing that, I'm going to step on that rod. It sounds kind of too basic, but it's almost like setting up a dashboard. And once the dashboard is set up the way you want, and where the heck did it go? Oh, yeah. And you got your hemos, and you got your fingernail clippers, and you got your bent safety pins with your stocks. That's all you need in your bait. That's it. It's light. You go. Carry as much beer as you want. Bye-bye.